Have you ever really looked at the pen on your desk? It seems so incredibly simple, right? But believe it or not, the story behind it is this 900-year epic of total frustration and pure genius, all focused on solving one single, stubborn, inky problem.
And that's the big mystery we're going to dive into. For literally centuries, some of the most brilliant minds tried to create a pen you could just carry around, one with its own ink. But every single time, they were stopped dead in their tracks by leaks and blotches. So why was this seemingly simple little gadget so ridiculously hard to get right?
Okay, so to really appreciate the final breakthrough, we have to understand the struggle. And for most of human history, the simple act of writing was, to put it mildly, a messy, inefficient chore. Just picture it. On one side, you have the reality for centuries, grabbing a feather or a reed, dipping it in a pot of ink, writing a few words, and then dipping it again. It meant constant interruptions, ugly blots, and a super slow process. And on the other side, you had the dream, a pen that held its own ink, a pen that just worked, cleanly, smoothly, conveniently. That was the goal.
And the desire for that perfect pen wasn't new. People had been trying to build one for nearly 1,000 years. But all of these early attempts, as ambitious as they were all fundamentally flawed. They just didn't work.
I mean, this frustration goes way, way back. We're talking the 900s, when an Egyptian caliph basically said, enough is enough. I want a pen that doesn't get ink all over my hands and my clothes. And his demand actually led to one of the very first reservoir pens, a super early attempt to contain the ink.
But look at this timeline. It's wild. From that first request in the 10th century, it took another 700 years for the next big idea, Daniel Schwenter's pen made from 2 quills. Then another 2 whole centuries go by before the next major leap. This wasn't because people didn't want a better pen. It was a seriously tough engineering challenge.
So then we get to 1827. A guy named Petro Poenaro patents a pen with a replaceable ink cartridge. A huge step, right? A total game changer. Except it still leaked. And why? Because he and pretty much everyone else was missing the basic physics. See, as ink flowed out, no air was flowing in to take its place. This created a vacuum, which led to either no ink at all or, you guessed it, a big messy blob.
So for almost 900 years, this puzzle went unsolved. And then an American insurance broker, of all people, gets so fed up with his leaky pen ruining a big contract that he finally cracks the code that had stumped inventors for centuries. The year you have to remember is 1884. That's the moment Louis Waterman patented his design. And what's so amazing is that he didn't just tweak an old idea, he completely solved the fundamental scientific problem of how to get ink and air to work together.
His solution was the 3-channel feed, and it was just pure elegance. It's so simple when you see it. One tiny channel lets ink flow down to the paper. A second, absolutely critical channel lets air flow up into the pen, replacing the ink and equalizing the pressure. And then, a third channel acts like a safety valve, an overflow to catch any excess. This brilliant little system finally created a reliable, leak-proof pen. The 900-year problem was solved. Just like that. And with Waterman's design setting the standard, the fountain pen just exploded in popularity. It entered its golden age. For the first half of the 20th century, it wasn't just a tool. It was an essential part of daily life. But, well, its reign wasn't going to last forever.
During this golden age, innovation was everywhere. Pens stopped being just functional. They became beautiful objects, made from amazing new materials like celluloid, in every color you can imagine. We got these ingenious, self-filling systems, levers, buttons, pistons, that made them so much easier to use. And brands we all still know, like Parker and Montblanc, turned the fountain pen into something everyone could own.
But right at the peak of its power, a totally disruptive new technology showed up. Invented back in the 1930s, the humble little ballpoint pen was about to change everything.
And the reason the ballpoint took over was really simple. The fountain pen was sophisticated, sure, but it needed cleaning and refilling, and it cost a bit more. The ballpoint? It was cheap, it always worked, and when it ran out, you just threw it away. In that fast-paced post-war world, convenience beat elegance hands down. By the 1960s, the ballpoint was king.
But the story doesn't end there. Not at all. The fountain pen didn't die. It was reborn. In our crazy digital world, it found a brand new purpose in a whole new generation of fans.
It basically had to completely reinvent itself. It went from being the tool you had to use for work and school to being an object you chose to use, something to appreciate, a beautiful piece of engineering, a hobbyist's delight.
So what's with the comeback? Well, in a world where we're always tapping on glass screens, the fountain pen offers something real, something tactile. It's a connection to the physical act of creating something, an escape from all the digital noise. And modern companies like Lamy, Pilot, and TWSBI are creating these incredible pens that are bringing a whole new generation into the fold.
Which really leaves us with this final thought. The long journey of the fountain pen is incredible because it shows how a piece of technology can go from being absolutely vital to simply being, well, beloved. It survived not because we need it anymore, but because of the unique, very human connection it gives us. So in a world of fleeting texts and instant messages, maybe the real question is, what's the value in slowing down and truly making your mark?